I'm glad to see you're still interested. So let me chat with you a little bit about how my whole teaching environment works. Let me start by saying that I've been in the piano education world for close to 30 years, and I've witnessed it from all sides as a teacher to both private students and in a class setting, as a publisher selling other piano methods to teachers, and as an author of my own instruction materials, and finally, over the last 10 to 12 years, as a TV host producing instructional piano materials for TV that have won 8 Emmy Awards. So, through that lifetime of experience, I have seen firsthand the pros and the cons of different teaching environments and how they work based on what type of piano playing you're trying to teach, classical or what I do, which is teaching more modern styles. Those teaching environments can range all the way from the most traditional way, and in many cases I think it's the only thing that a lot of people think is available, which is going once a week to a private piano teacher's home, all the way to class lessons with multiple students in the same room, and finally, kind of on the other end of the spectrum, all the way to a purely teach yourself approach with materials, but no teacher instruction at all. Now, I spent the last 3 to 4 years really kind of synthesizing how to take the best of each approach and throw out the worst. Although I had a pretty good vision and wish list for what it should look like, unfortunately the technology just wasn't there, or at least it wasn't widespread enough to be feasible, and I kind of found myself playing a waiting game for things to kind of catch up. Well, I'm really happy to say that the wait is over. My teaching environment utilizes online video in conjunction with real world physical books and materials, consistent and recurring exercises that reaffirm just introduced concepts, and feedback for student questions, along with a supportive community of some like minded learners. Best of all, this environment is completely untethered from the somewhat arbitrary time constraints that are really kind of the norm of a 30 to 60-minute lesson once a week. And this is really a big deal. Consider the case of a 30-minute weekly private lesson, all right? You travel to your teacher at some predetermined same scheduled time each week, and out of the 30 minutes, you probably spend, 5 to 10 minutes playing scales or technique exercises, and maybe another 5 to 10 playing back for your teacher what it was you worked on the previous 7 days for their feedback, and maybe another 5 to 10 actually learning the new concepts or instruction from your teacher, or having them repeat things from the last lesson if you didn't practice enough to master the skill, right? And then you get your marching orders for the upcoming week, and you go away for exactly 7 days, without any regard to your schedule or circumstances or personal motivational state or whatever. And you're expected to practice every day, and then you return and you do it all over again the next week, forever, right? It goes on and on and on. Well, I kind of have some serious design flaw issues with that whole paradigm of private lessons that we've lived with for hundreds of years. I mean, for example, what if I've had a really busy week and I've not had piano study anywhere near the top of my list of importance? I mean, why does that every 7 day clock have to keep ticking? And for that matter, who decided 7 days was the length of time it should take me to learn or to master some new concept? I mean, why can't I come back for more whenever I'm ready, whether that's in an hour or it's 10 days out? Also, what if I find that the time that would really be best for me for a lesson changes all the time? Or it's, late in the evening or maybe very early in the morning before my kids wake up. I mean, what if I didn't really get that new thing that I was taught in the few minutes in the lesson? What if I didn't see my teacher's hands on the keyboard well enough while I was sitting there? I don't want to spend a week practicing something wrong. It would really be great to be able to see what I was taught over and over if I needed to, right? Now, I understand that a teacher's time is their kind of, I don't know, currency of income. But instead of paying for every minute you spend with a teacher, doesn't it make more sense to kind of pay, X dollars for X amount of education, no matter how long it takes or how many times you need to take a lesson over to get that amount learned? I mean, I could go on and on, but kind of to summarize, we've somewhat thrown out that traditional model and started from scratch, and I've been able to solve all of those dilemmas with my online environment. I'm going to teach you each full lesson in these multiple bite-sized chunks. Now, you can repeat them as many times as needed if you need to see it again. You'll not only see me talking directly to you, kind of like what you're watching right now in this studio, but you'll also see my hands clearly on the keyboard for anything that needs demonstration. You can start or stop or pause for that matter to your heart's content to see exactly what it is you need to get something learned. Now, when needed, we have some annotations like chord charts or some other visual elements, and they appear along with the lesson videos to really even help cement this material even further. Now, immediately after every little chunk, there will be a small exercise that I'll have you play on your piano or keyboard to really confirm that you understand and have attained the skill that I just talked about and you're ready to move forward. Now, if you're good to go, you can move forward immediately. Or if whatever I just showed you was a challenge and it takes a few hours or a few days, whatever, to really get the concept underhand, you can do that at your leisure. The timing is completely up to you. There's no need to wait 7 days for your next lesson or any other arbitrary time length for that matter. It's kind of like having me as your private teacher on call 24/7 to show up at your house or wherever else you are for that matter in a moment's notice. Now that, I think, is an improved model. If the situation ever arises that you feel you need some feedback, we have multiple avenues for you to get the info that you need depending on what it is your question or needs are. You can email questions in. You could even include a video with your question if need be. And the responses you'll receive range from, emails in return all the way up to a specific video response showing you exactly how to solve whatever problem you might be having. It's kind of like getting to, ask your teacher a question and then having the luxury of being able to record every single response should you ever need to view it again. Finally, I think it's important to, again, kind of remind you that not only is this lesson environment that we've built so revolutionary and really such an improvement in many ways over the traditional model, but also the content of the lessons themselves are this rifle shot towards reaching you, you know, to get you to a point where you're playing musically correctly all the non-classical genres I discussed previously. Right? I will not be teaching you traditional classical piano lessons. You can find those in a lot of other places. I'm going to be teaching a pure methodology that is terribly hard to find when it comes to piano teachers comfortable and skilled at this type of an approach. Well, I think you would agree that we've improved on a lot of issues kind of inherent in that traditional approach to taking piano lessons. And now you can see why I'm so excited about the program, and I hope I can get you as excited to learn to play piano in this system as I am in teaching it. If you're wondering about how we charge for these lessons and what you'll get, stick around and I'll explain it next.